a piece of graph paper, that's where you can go ahead and get that as well. So what I have is I've taken some pictures, and I want to show you, first of all of you should be working with a piece of graph paper like this. This is what I handed out to you in class. And you can see that on the graph, we have some parts that you need to make sure you're aware. First of all, there should be lines drawn with a ruler, so you'll need to make sure you do that. On the x-axis, the axis on the bottom, that's where our activities are going to be. Y-axis is going to be our time. Now, do notice I put down the time in seconds, and there's going to be some discussion that's going to be happening today in class, because again, you can see I put an interval of seconds over on the y-axis, and I skipped some lines in between. So we're going to be talking a little bit more in class about intervals and how you're going to figure out how big and small to make them. It's really going to be dependent upon your data. So we may have to talk about that individually if you're not in class with me today. On the x-axis, you can notice that I have bars, and you'll be making 2 bars for each activity. So you do want to make sure that you have space. You can kind of see I did 2 bar or 2 rows for each of the bars, and then I have them touching a space in between. I did count out the graph paper, just so you are aware. If you hold the graph paper the way I have it, there's about 41 squares top to bottom, and then there's 64 squares from left to right. You are making 12 bars. My count is wrong. You are making 6 bars, so kind of realize that it's 6 times 2, so that's the 12. So there's 6 for the thumb, 6 for the no thumb, and then I made them each 2 bars. So that's the 24 bars, and that's why I can kind of have mine spaced out a little bit differently because of the number of blocks I'm using for my bars. So again, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. You need to make 8 more bars from there, since you're going to include the test tube and the scissors and your name, tying the string, and then also buttoning the shape. So those are the other ones you're going to be having. So do realize that that's what I'm talking about with the grid right there. Again, this is going to be the data coming from your lab paper. So if we head back into slides, you are using the paper copy of the lab. And again, tomorrow you're going to be handing in the paper copy. So if we go to, a little too far. If we go right here, this is the data you're using again from your chart. So we're going to be creating the bar graph right there and talking about what goes on the X and what goes on the Y. There should be a key as well, as you could see on my example. And then also make sure that once you're done with your bar graph, those questions need to be answered. And you guys will be handing that in. Again, today's goal is the